After Susan Bysiewicz was forced out, former Senate Majority Leader George Jepsen became the only Democratic contender. He picked up his party's nomination this past weekend. He is here now for a closer look at his candidacy. George Jepsen, thanks for joining us. And we're joined once again by current columnist Rick Green. And George, I'm not trying to be a smart aleck, but let's just get the eligibility question out of the way. You are an actively practicing lawyer, right?
Yes, I've been practicing for more than 26 years.
And tell us what your areas of expertise are.
Well, I'm an honors graduate from Harvard Law School, where I, to earn extra money and pay for the education, I worked as a teaching fellow for former Watergate prosecutor Archibald Cox in constitutional law. First job out of law school, I spent nearly 10 years as staff counsel to the Carpenters Union for Western Connecticut. I could have gone to any, lucrative corporate law firm, but instead, for nearly 10 years, the issues that affect working men and women, things like wages, health benefits, pensions, job site safety, workers' compensation, unemployment compensation. These are the issues that I wrestled with. Since then, I've been in private practice at a number of really top-notch law firms, and it's been a very broad practice that at different times has put me in everywhere from civil court, criminal court, housing court, probate court, and now we've done some successful cases on appeal to the Connecticut Supreme Court.
Right, so no question a lawyer. What do you think of what happened with Susan Bysiewicz, and not just because she was your opponent?
Well, in some respects, it's a shame when somebody has to go out that way. Obviously, it reflects choices she made to drop down from the governor's race. I know a number of people said to her at the time it was a risky course given the qualifications issue. She decided to go to court to get them resolved, and the Supreme Court voted unanimously that she was not qualified.
And you agreed with that ruling?
I never questioned her eligibility or her legal qualifications. I said every step of the way it's a question for the courts, and I accept the court's decision.
George, did you ever on any level have any involvement with the folks who were challenging Susan Bysiewicz's eligibility, the blogger, the Democrats who were, I won't say the Republicans who were making trouble, but did you have any connection with that?
No, the blogger, Ryan McKean, I met for the first time, and I'd never spoken to him. I met him for the first time at the state convention. Seems like a nice guy.
What kind of an AG will you be? I mean, people either loved or hated Blumenthal. Some said he was a little, heavy with the lawsuits. Do you think you'll be in the model of him, or what kind of AG would you be?
Well, I share Dick's values. He's been an outstanding Attorney General. I think he sets the gold standard for what an Attorney General can and should be nationally. I mean, there's no state Attorney General who can point to a body of work and accomplishment that remotely comes close to his. Again, I share his values. I share the activist approach. You're there to be a watchdog for consumers. You're there to be fighting for the broad public interest. I succeeded him once in office before. I took his state Senate seat when he became Attorney General 20 years ago. I helped run his campaign, especially at the convention. And I brought my own style to the office of the state Senate. I was Senate Majority Leader, and I'm not trying to be the second Dick Blumenthal. I'll be the first George Jepsen.
So you would agree then that lawsuits create jobs?
I think that
was probably the comment he made in the debate.
I think that Dick could have chosen his words better then. I think that the point he was making was that he enforces laws against businesses who break the law. He enforces laws against those who cheat. Now, obviously, you have to be very careful. You have your facts straight so you don't go after an honest business. But when businesses cheat and get away with it, legitimate businesses can't compete. And especially when I was with the Carpenters, I had a lot of experience with that.
But as Laurie said, and we've heard a lot of people say, Attorney General Blumenthal maybe went over the line with lawsuits that were driving corporations out of the state, that were making this a place where businesses don't want to come to do business.
I think that's the Republican charge, and it's largely overblown. I will say, I'm not a pure litigator by background or nature. Someone who tries to bring people together and solve problems, and litigation should always be as a last resort.
Mm-hmm. Let me ask you to put on a different hat that you've worn before. You were the former state party chair for the state Dems. Do you think, and this might be hard for you to answer since you're running for office, but do you think that they've done a good job as the state party? I mean, in terms of even from the beginning, particularly with the Blumenthal thing, when they let him announce on the hours after Senator Dodd announced, and even this misspeaking about Vietnam. Do you think that they're handling the races well?
Well, Nancy DiNardo, who is the state Democratic Party chairman, is excellent. She has enormous integrity. She has no personal agenda except to elect good Democrats to public office. As a party chairman, it's her job to do what's in the party's best interest. And certainly when Chris Dodd got out of the race, Dick Blumenthal was clearly the candidate that the Democrats needed and wanted to have. And so getting behind him, I think, was entirely appropriate.
So you think they're doing a good job, I mean, with the races across the board?
Yeah, Democrats have all 5 congressional seats. We picked up 3 in the last 2 cycles. Overwhelming majorities in both houses in the Connecticut legislature, except for the governorship, and lieutenant governor, all the constitutional officers. So obviously she's doing something that's right for Democrats, and I think it'll continue that way when we win the governorship this year.
The role of the activist attorney general, then, that's your platform. We're going to see more of that, more lawsuits, more challenging.
Not necessarily more lawsuits. I didn't say more lawsuits. I said, I have a record of successful advocacy on issues that matter to the people of this state. Environmental issues, when I was a Senate Majority Leader, gun safety, protecting a woman's right to choose, consumer issues, living wills and end-of-life issues, open space preservation, clean air, clean water. These are the issues I'm going to be an advocate for as Attorney General, and I think I'm going to do it right.
All right. What do you think of your opponents? We only have about 30 seconds, but...
Well, I'm keeping my head down and focusing on the things I need to do, which is let people know who George Jepsen is, my qualifications, my commitment to the issues that matter to us in Connecticut. I hope they have a fun primary.
Right. Excellent. I'm sure you will. Thank you very much. Thanks for being here, George, and thanks, Rick, for joining us as well. Don't forget, if you missed something here on The Real Story, you can now watch it online by going to ctnow.com. You can also catch us on YouTube. Thanks for watching this week's edition of The Real Story. Be sure to tune in. We'll see you here again next week.